Welcome back to your
Second.
favorite sports podcast. We are back with episode four. We're on four
Four.
now.
Number four, man.
That's good. That's
That's
nice.
crazy.
And consecutive weeks, by the way. I mean,
Yes,
don't want to pat ourselves on the back too much, but this is nice.
this is nice.
Um, just jumping right into it. Before we jump into it, I didn't forget this time.
Jumping
Before
right
we
into
jump
it
into
before we
it.
jump into it.
Ah, YouTube.com/second favorite sports, SoundCloud.com/second favorite sports. That's where to watch and listen to the podcast and follow us on social media at second favorite sports. That's where we post updates. That's where we do additional content, and we're going to be doing even more stuff going forward. So stay tuned on all of those fronts. Now that that's out of the way, we can get right into it. Trent, I was watching the World Series and I noticed that the Rays were wearing the Devil Ray hats,
hmm
but nothing else to do. They were wearing the powder blues,
Yes.
and it looked wrong to me. What do you?
Underrated logo too, by the way.
Great logo,
For sure.
and on the dark blue hat, but with the powder blue jerseys. Does
Yes.
that? I mean, did that seem off to you?
It did. Like, I know that's from the throwback jerseys because I know Willie Adames had the socks on, like the green socks. I'm like, God, these green socks do not, they clash with this blue jersey. It's almost as if they said, hey, like, we're wearing the blue jersey, but man, like, we don't really want to wear like the primary TB hat, like the Tampa Bay hat. Like, let's spice it up. Like, let's do something different. And they said, and I guess they just picked. I feel like everybody likes the Rays hat, just like you and me. Like, we like that logo and that hat. I think they just said, hey, let's rock it with the jersey, and it just didn't go. And it's funny. I like the blue Rays jersey, and I like that hat, just not together.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was bad mojo for them, right? I mean, they wound up
Yeah,
losing that game,
absolutely.
right?
They
They
didn't.
lost that game. Yeah, they lost
Yeah,
that
they
game.
lost. They lost yesterday.
Um, And to me, and that's a whole other thing. If we're talking about Mojo and Juju and all that stuff,
hmm
like wearing the Devil Rays stuff, the Devil Rays were not the most prosperous team in the
No,
world.
there was a point where I felt bad for them. As like,
Right.
like we would beat them like 24-4 or 24-7, and I'm like, like this is, and they have good players. It's just they were like a punching bag.
Right. Like, I don't know if I'm trying to call back to the glory days when we were by far the worst team in baseball
Yes,
while we're on the biggest stage you could
definitely.
possibly be on. I don't know. Like, it's cool in May, but like
Yes,
we're trying, like, imagine if you win the World Series and all the photos have you wearing that old hat with the new uniform.
yeah,
How confusing that is
very.
for someone like looking back, like in the Hall of Fame, and there's a picture of that Rays team that won the World Series in that crazy, 2020 season, and they're wearing the devil. I was like, wait, did the Devil Rays or did the Ray like
Yes, who won?
right,
When did they win this?
right? Like I don't know who was like, you know what, let's do this,
hmm
and didn't think people are going to be taking pictures. This is going to be on video. Like, and this World Series has been tremendous, by the way. It's
It
crazy. It,
has.
it should be memorialized. It should be thought of years from now because it's been nuts.
It's been really really good. Unbelievable stuff.
But it was just so weird to me. And then it got me thinking, like, are there teams that would work for, like the
Mm,
mixing old with new?
mm,
I mean,
okay.
what do you? I mean, are there any that come to mind for you that like you'd like to see, or you think it would look good if a team blended some of their old elements with some of their current? Like the current stuff's not bad, but if you
Yeah.
mix some of that old stuff, it could be really nice.
Hmm. Like I think like probably like the Seahawks. I was thinking Seahawks because I remember like when Steve Largent was playing quarterback. Not that I was alive for it, but I remember that logo and I always liked the logo. But this new Seahawks uniform is amazing to me. You know what I mean? So maybe for me, I know they have the blue helmets. So if you go on Google, you'll see the old Steve Largent like silver Seahawks helmet.
Hmm.
So if you took that silver Seahawks helmet and put it with, let's say, like what the Seahawks wore yesterday, which was that gray jersey, or that silver jersey. I think that would go. Like I like that. I like that look. Um, I think the Seahawks. I think like the Chargers kind of have it already. Like they've never really.
Yeah.
I never feel like they've, except like early Phillip Rivers and like Drew Brees when they had those navy blue jerseys.
Right. Right.
They've always felt like they've always tied their throwbacks and their legacy to the new uniforms. Always.
Yeah, you're right.
Um,
They're a team that does it really well. Like it's kind of just been seamless, except for those few years where they were really heavy on the dark blue. But
mhm.
now they've gone back to the powder blues, and I think that's. I mean, even back then, like when they were really heavy on the navy uniforms, when they had
Yeah.
like LT and all that, they still wore the powders, and it was a big deal when they wore the powders. But they're a team that's done it kind of like flawlessly. Like they've done
Yeah.
a really nice job blending
Mhm.
old. I'd like to see, like, I know everyone loved the Grizz brought back the green.
One of my favorites.
I love it. I would love to see the old, like, monstrous looking Grizzly
Yes.
on the new, even with the new color scheme. Like, even if
Mhm.
you want to blend, because like the brown of the bear would still go with that dark blue.
That dark blue. Yeah, absolutely.
So to me, like, bring that back, like, because I feel like everything gets so whitewashed now, and like
It does.
it needs to be generic. And I think that Grizzly would really pop if they brought it back, like
It's
in
so
the
90s,
brown.
that jersey. Like that
Oh,
uniform is so 90s because it's like it's similar to like the Raptors, like with the animal is just like so
mhm.
prominent on the jersey. But now it's got to be like everything's clean and
Mhm.
you got to be able to like everything's I wouldn't say a fashion statement, but it's got to look like you could wear this to, I don't know, I can't even,
To
like you got to
anything
be able to
really.
wear that jersey. Like if you could wear that jersey, similar like the Nets. So like with my squad, like that black is a cool color, but like you could wear a Nets hoodie to like the club or
Right,
like to a bar after a game or something, and you're
right,
gonna look like you wore that out for the first time. Like I chose to wear this because it goes with my outfit. You know what I mean?
right. They're not gonna look at you and be like, "Oh, he must have just come from the game."
Yes. Or he's a
Yeah,
dweeb because he's wearing his jersey to the lounge. You
right.
know, like if I wore my jersey, like if I wore a Grizzlies jersey to One Oak, it's like he's trying really hard. What is he thinking? But like if I wore a Nets t-shirt or a hoodie, because it's just a clean look, it looks like like that went with his outfit today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think a lot of it. I think you're right. I think a lot of it has to do with blending it with
Yeah.
fashion and like wearability, and I mean that makes sense. But you lose that unique thing that made all these throwbacks so special. Like I would love to see the Magic incorporate
That was my
the
next one too. That was my next
yeah.
one.
I mean,
You
I'd
got the
love to
best
see that.
throwback.
I'd love to see the star, so a
Yes.
little more shine, a little more sparkle. Like it's Orlando, like it's Disney, it's the like this. Be who you are, you know.
Absolutely.
I would love to
Absolutely.
see a little bit more, and they
And
kind of have with some of their
mhm.
more recent alternates and stuff. But I want it to be more like the old, like the I want the pinstripes, I want the shiny material for no reason other than to look cool.
Yes.
Like,
But what was the so I don't think I even asked you this. What was the point of the orange jersey they had? Like that orange and
oh god.
like gray? Was it like a gray or like a
Yes.
chrome?
Yes, it was gray. I mean, I didn't hate those, but to me, they were just such a departure from everything else we wear. You know, it's the whole idea of like Florida
Mm,
orange.
got you. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know
But
that.
it's just like to me, it looked like a Suns alternate uniform.
Yeah, it looked like it was so counter of what y'all are. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing too. A lot of these teams flip their colors so extreme. It's like so like one of my favorite uniforms is the Golden State Warriors with like Baron Davis and
Mm-hmm.
Jason Richardson. That logo where it's like a man, but like he has no face. Like you remember that guy? And
Yeah.
like I vividly remember like the 23 Richardson jersey. That's what that uniform to me is famous for.
Yes, the dunk
And I
contest.
and I love the war and like Monte Ellis. Monte Ellis wore that
Mm.
jersey too. And like early Steph. And like it had warriors coming across and like the W was pretty cool. And they just went completely like old school blue and gold. And it's like again, that's the look. And I'm like they go so left with the uniforms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna go. This is what it looked like in up to 2004, 2005, and we're gonna go completely the other way.
Yeah.
And so that's the when it gets hard to like. That's when
Blend.
it gets hard to like. With your question, we're like, hey, can you blend the old with the new? I guess you could. It just they don't make it easy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They don't make it easy. So
Yeah. Like
those
I
are
would love,
that's the tough
I'd,
part.
I'd love to see. It's funny, a lot of these are basketball just because so many of the basketballs are great throwbacks, but like the Jazz bring the purple
Hmm.
back
Hmm.
into their unis. There's so many teams that use dark blue, and the only other team that's really, I mean, obviously the Lakers use the purple, the Kings use the purple, but outside of California,
Yeah.
like there's room for another team to use and the Jazz purple was even a little darker than those two teams. Um, I'd love to see them bring that. But to me, the all time, I mean, you want to talk about very directly relatable to the Rays wearing an old hat with a new jersey.
Hmm.
Giants got to bring back the full Giants on the
Got
helmet.
to. Got to. If you
That
I love it. Like if you wore that white jersey, to me, the whole combo with the white jersey, white pants, and even like the collar, like the
Mhm.
nice collar, and it's just a clean look. But that logo is just amazing, man.
Yeah, and it's funny because like with the Rays, we talked about why would you want to call back to times where the team was bad. For the
Hmm.
Giants, if you bring back that Giants, the full written out word Giants on the helmet, you're calling back to the best time of the franchise's history.
Definitely.
I mean, the best team that has ever played for the Giants, the some of the best players, maybe the greatest player to ever play football, some people would argue, in Lawrence Taylor wore that logo and that uniform. Like
Hmm.
to me, that's the ultimate heritage play. Like if you want to do it, bring that
Absolutely.
logo back.
Absolutely.
And I know we're like a lighter blue now. We don't wear that like dark navy blue, but
Hmm.
it's white lettering. Like it can go with the light blue. It doesn't matter.
No, for sure. For sure. Well, I got a question for you. Like, as far as that and just the topic of jerseys, who are like your top five, like, second jerseys out there?
Oh, I like that. Second.
You see what I did there?
Yeah, not second best, but
No.
best second.
Yes.
I got you. Uh weirdly, the first one that comes to mind, and it also reminds me of like playing Madden back in the day, is the black Detroit Lions jersey.
It's a good look. It really is.
Slept on with
They have
that
these.
light blue.
Yes. Yes. And I
To me,
remember
to me,
like,
I think of Megatron. I think of
yes.
Megatron being a cheat code in Madden, and I used to play as the Lions. I wore the black jerseys every game, and I used to trade for AP no matter what.
It's
No matter, and then I
such
have
a Madden trade too.
Calvin. Oh my gosh! And then it was just a cheat code. That's it.
Definitely. I like that. I like that. No, that jersey is a clean look because they had the
Mm-hmm.
silver helmets, the
Mm-hmm.
lion logo, and then they would wear the black with the silver pants too. And it's such a good look. And that's actually like it's funny the Detroit Lions, for however you feel about them and how bad they've been as far as the history, they do have a clean look to them. Like
Yes.
the jersey is nice with the pants. They have
I
this like,
even I even like the Thanksgiving Day jerseys, the old school
yes,
Barry Sanders, even
absolutely,
earlier than that, even earlier than Barry. Those like
definitely.
light blue with just the gray. Like as far as a plain old throwback,
Hmm.
that's a nice throwback.
Yes. Mine, let's see. One of my favorites is and you're gonna like this. It's the blue AI Sixers jersey, like Eric Snow, Aaron McKee. Who else was on that team? Dikembe Mutombo. Because people remember the white and the black, of course, is just a clean like AI and anything black jersey is just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But the blue one where they wore, I think they wore maybe like 15 times a year, maybe less. It might have been less, 10 times a year. And they'll wear it and they'll have like the red headband or like the red and white striped headband. Ooh, just
Yeah.
a and with the big 76 on the shorts and it had
Yes.
the basketball in it. And I think of the mascot, hip hop. I think of when every time I see him, see that jersey in my head, I think of him, the bunny, the rabbit who used to dunk, and he wore like the sleeve and the do rag and stuff. But that jersey is so nice. Like it's such a clean look. And they always had the silky jersey. Like they always had the
Yes.
silky material.
Yes.
But that's one of my favorites. I love that jersey. And now the Sixers kind of like they have like 7 jerseys, and none of them are really great because I feel like they're always trying to get back to that blue because that blue is just because there's such a contrast to the black and white that you bring out the blue one and it's just so good looking. It's so clean.
That's an all-timer for sure. That could contend for greatest of all time in terms of like second jerseys or alternate. I mean, we're using second because obviously,
of course,
but alternates or whatever. That's an all-timer, and it's because of, like you said, the contrast. You were wearing black and white, and then you showed up one night and AI was in blue with a red headband on. It was like, whoa, like this is different. I love it. Those were classic. Those are amazing. And even like, I mean, we well know, a lot of the people watching, listening well know the black Mets jersey. That's classic. That's a lot of Mets fans that I know favorite jersey.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the one that they own the most of.
Yes.
And to me, I mean, there's nothing stopping them even current day from incorporating that.
I think they should. I really do. Like just like you said, people we know, and it's funny, like that jersey has a lot of like controversy too. Because for as many people I know that love that jersey and think of like Mike Piazza and who else wore that jersey with them? Al Leiter was on that team that wore it. There's a few other guys from that like early 2000s, late 90s. But there's so many people that I know that hate that jersey, which I never understood.
It's crazy to me.
Because I even like the black Mets hat. They had a black hat with a blue brim that went with that jersey, and I loved it.
I'm telling you, I've seen so many people, even to this day, wearing that black hat with the blue brim that you are talking about, and they're black Carlos Beltran or Delgado or whomever it may be, or of course the classic Piazza. But so many people wearing that. Like to me, that's another. I mean, as simple as it is, and maybe I'm biased, being from where we're from, but to me, that's another like all-time, just and especially when you think about like the moments that occurred in those unis, like some truly great moments in the franchise's history. They wore those uniforms for. Definitely. I think that's why it's ingrained in so many people's minds.
Yes.
I think that plays a part too, is like, what did we do in those uniforms?
That's a huge part of it, I believe. That's a huge part because I remember the Jets had the Titans. You remember the Titans jerseys we had, the navy blue?
Yes.
And we wore, and like we won games in those. But I just think that for fans, it was just so not Jets green, and so like threw people off. But I remember I had a Lavernius Coles Titans jersey, my guy Lavernius, and I love that jersey, like the gold with the gold with the blue, like it was a blue helmet with a gold stripe, and it's just a clean gold, like it was so old school looking. But I just don't know if we embraced it. We got to, as a fan base, you have to embrace those things because they're putting it out so you can buy it, and so I don't think they care if the team wears it. It's more about like who's buying the jerseys, and and that's why I think like so for you guys, like the old Magic jersey, like you put that out, that's nostalgic. Like
forget it.
They're gonna sell those like cake, and then that becomes should be the jersey that you guys wear. You know what I mean?
100% it should be. I mean, and that's why you see like the even the Warriors with their gray.
Yeah.
And like they were like, we'll just try this out, and then they were flying off shelf.
Flying off the shelf.
Because the contrast, like we talked about with other teams, like it's a total contrast from their white, yellow, blue. You come out with this gray jersey, and now it's such a regular thing for them to wear. And definitely. I think it's great. I think it looks great with their other colors.
Yes.
And that gray, it's a clean. That's where you want to talk about how wearable a jersey is. Like I'm not going to wear a bright yellow jersey, but that gray with the yellow accent, absolutely, it's a clean look.
Absolutely, it's a good look. My other favorite one is like the old Bulls black one.
Oof.
pinstripes. Oh, and it said Chicago across. Oh my gosh. Like that was like 45, Mike.
Yes.
That's like 98. They brought that jersey out. I thought it was so clean, such a clean look.
Absolutely. A lot of these, honestly, were the ones that we're saying are black jerseys. You're talking about Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
Chicago. A lot of these are, and I think it's because they're different. Unless you're like the Nets or the Sixers, and maybe that's the form. I mean, that's really the formula, right? To coming out with the best second jersey is just give me what my jerseys aren't, and usually it will. If it's a clean look, it'll work out. You don't want to
Yeah.
be too busy, but like even you look at the Seahawks, it's dark blue and bright white, and then we're gonna come at you with neon. And they were really the
Yes.
first team to do that.
Yes.
And it's so out of left field that it works. As long as you find a nice like match, which that neon matches really nicely with the blue and the white, then there you go.
Definitely.
So I'd love to see that. I'd love to see teams incorporate some of the old elements with the new. I just think the Rays swung and missed on it,
Yeah.
as they did a lot that night. Um,
That was good. That was good. I like that one.
I like the conversation about the best second. We might have to do like a bracket. Do we dare do a bracket?
I think so. Like actually, I like that idea, man. I do. Because honestly, I think we could I love brackets. I feel like you love brackets. And
Who doesn't like a good bracket?
for real, you can't beat a bracket. And I think like if we pick like our 16 best second jerseys, and hey, we could even let the people decide that one.
I think that's only fair. I think the people love brackets.
I would love to hear from the people.
I think that may be what we have to do. We may have to do a viewer/listener decided bracket.
I think so. I think that's the wave.
I think that's good. I like that. And then we can follow up on it. We could do it over the course of like a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get some good. If anyone has any suggestions, hit us up because we're going to be putting it together. We'll definitely have the ones that we've talked about here, but some of them might get bumped. We might think of better ones.
And I think you'll be surprised. I think the people will be, I don't know what the people are thinking, of course, but there are some jerseys that I feel like are like a no-brainer that I think people will be like, I'm not really feeling that one. I like this one. And it could be an off the wall one where like, man, you picked that second jersey. That wasn't their best. And maybe that has to do with like I'm a Knicks fan, and I remember the Knicks came out with that nasty orange jersey. I think they went like 1-9 in it or something crazy. And so they're like, like you can keep that jersey. I don't even want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
No, I think I would love to see what the people think. I think this is not. I don't think it's as cut and dry as what people probably would think, because it is opinion. But I think there's some underrated jerseys that would like upset some really, really strong ones.
Yeah, I think we could find some that are even that people aren't going to think about, and they might be a low seed, and they might take down a top seed. They might take down an all-time classic.
Like, who's the UMBC of second jerseys? That's the question. That's what we're here to figure out.
There's some good ones. There's some very underrated, only used for a couple years type second jerseys that are going to be in this bracket. There's going to be upsets. I can already predict there's going to be upsets.
Definitely.
All right, so I like that. So stay tuned at Second Favorite Sports.
Stay tuned, people. And
we'll probably just do some polls to decide. That's probably the easiest way. We'll just do polls on social media to decide the bracket.
So, hey guys, follow Second Favorite Sports, please.
That's it. That's the only way.
That's where the bracket is.
That's where it's gonna be at, and then we'll update it there too, and we'll update it on the pod, and we'll talk about surprises, who won, who lost. So we can always do a little quick hitter each episode that's going on. So
remember, guys, link in the bio. Okay, link in the bio.
Absolutely. And you might be listening to this or watching this right now, and then on another device, you might be on Instagram right now at Second Favorite Sports. It's that easy. Just follow and enjoy and participate.
Please.
Even my pops has Instagram now. Like, you got no
Does
excuse.
he really?
Dad, hit the button. Follow. I might have to show him how to do it.
Come on, pops, make it happen.
He I'm gonna have to air him out a little bit. I'm gonna get yelled at for this, but that's okay. He hit me up the other day and was like, he's looking and he goes, "Why am I getting?" And my mom is there too. I'm on speakerphone. I'm like, "What's going on?" And they're asking me about Instagram, and he's like, "Why do I see things? I didn't follow these things. Why am I looking at ads for shoes?" He didn't say ads. He's like, "Why am I looking at a post about shoes?" And my mom's like, "There was a post with a young girl in it, and blah blah." And I'm like, "I don't." I'm like, "Listen."
Oh, God bless
I'm
him.
like, "Are you on the Explore page? What's going on?" They don't know what the
Mhm.
Explore page is.
Of course not.
And then we figure out, of course, it's sponsored posts.
There it
I'm
is.
like, "You didn't follow this." I'm like, "Does it say sponsored on the post?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, it says that." Oh, there you go. I had to get on FaceTime, Trent. I had to get on FaceTime.
You have to get on
Show
FaceTime.
me the phone. Show me what you are looking at. So all this goes to say, I may need to actually FaceTime my father and direct him how to follow us on Instagram if he's not already, and
That's
how to
crazy.
participate in our bracket. But he'll definitely be one that will have an opinion.
Shout out to your dad too, man.
I'm not. Don't worry, I won't give out your handle. We don't. I know we don't need. Don't worry about it. Just ours at Second Favorite Sports.
Definitely. Second favorite
Um,
sports.
And you know what, man? Like watching the games and watching the World Series and seeing people at the games is great. By the way,
Yes.
I think it's great that baseball is doing that. That we're getting people, and football's doing it too. But
Mhm.
obviously for the World Series, it's awesome to see people in the stands, hear reaction that's not like fake.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if you're a Dodgers fan, maybe that reaction's fake.
I know,
how
right?
long you been with us? I don't know. Um, but it's nice, and I see videos like, guys like the great John Boy talking
Mhm.
Yanks. Shout out to them.
Absolutely.
Huge inspiration.
Absolutely. Big fans too.
Big fans. Absolutely, we're FOTs of talking Yanks big time. But I see them at the games, and part of me is like, man, I miss that. Of course, but then also part of me is like, that lady behind them is really close to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there like, if I had the option, would I be there? Say it was happening in New York,
Yep.
which it did get offered. I know New York offered to act as a bubble for baseball.
That was on the table, yeah, for sure.
If it were an option, would I go? Put aside the whole price and all that, because it would be ridiculous. But I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Like, it'd have to be the right scenario, I guess. But like, at least say how it's currently set up, where there's people on top of people.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going if it's in New York?
If it's in New York, see, this is tough because I would I go? So we're talking like baseball, football, or any sport. I could pick a sport.
You could pick a sport.
All right. So like, let's say the Jets were 7-0, right? In an alternate universe. Let's say that.
There is one somewhere where they are.
Let's say we're on Mars and the Jets are 7-0 somehow. And they say, hey, like we're letting 25,000 people in the MetLife. If we follow, if there are precautions and measures and policies, I would probably go. Only for a team that's good. If like, if there's expectations, see, that's the caveat here. If there's expectations, I'll go. Like if the Yankees were in the World Series and it was in Texas, I would consider going. I probably wouldn't go, but I would consider it for sure. Like it would be, hey, let's see how much flights are and hotels and things like that if they were in the World Series. But the only way I'm not going, The only way I'm going is if the team has expectations. I know that may sound fraudish, but trust me, I'm not a fraud. I love my teams. It's just, is it worth going out and going to the stadium? That's the
No,
question.
I think that makes perfect sense. And this is also partially like how by the way, I'm doing this a lot. I don't know if people are noticing this. I certainly am. It's because I have the microphone attached to my shirt and
Yes.
it's literally pulling my shirt down.
He's
So
just, he
that's,
just, it's not only that he just doesn't want you to see the shirt. The shirt's great. He's just picking up the mic.
yeah, I got to pick up the mic. I got to make sure, we're all about quality here.
Yes.
But to me, there's also like a sick part of my brain that would be like, it would be really cool to
It
tell
would.
this story down the
Really
line.
would. It really would. Because I miss it. I do. Like
Oh,
I miss going like this whole summer. Like it's been tough, man. Like it's like as far as us, we're lovers of sports. We love sports, and we love going to events. I love going to events. You know me. I used to like I go to like 5 Jet games a year. You know what I mean?
which is
And
not
so-
easy, folks, by the way.
Hmm?
I said it's not easy,
It's
folks,
not.
by the way. This is New York.
Yes. A lot of beer.
You don't rock up to, MetLife and say, I'd like a ticket right now.
Exactly.
Doesn't happen.
Good luck getting to MetLife. That's the big problem.
Yeah.
You spend more time getting to MetLife than sitting in your seat watching the game.
100%. And you spend more time in the parking lot after trying to get out of MetLife than you do at the game.
And actually, like the game might be worse than getting out of the MetLife. Honestly, like that's for another day though. But yeah, like it's been tough, man. Like those during July and June when it's like dog days, and you're like, man, like for me, it was always about like, hey, you guys want to go to a game today? Like a nice 7:00, 6:30 start. It's about 75. The sun's going down. You hop on a 4. You make your way to the stadium, and it may not be a packed house on a Thursday, but like you're in the spot. Like everyone's there. You could be playing the White Sox, or you could be playing the Royals on a Wednesday, and you're just like, yes, this is what it's about. And not having that is tough, but yeah, like a part of you, the sick part of you is like, man, like I would love to be there,
Yes. It's just like something in me that would be like, it'd be cool to, you want to talk about like a legacy play. Like it'd be cool to tell my grandkids
Absolutely.
about that crazy COVID year.
Absolutely.
And how their ridiculous grandfather went to watch the Yankees play in the World Series during all this nonsense, like whatever. But also part of me would be like, I don't know. I like where I live.
Yes.
I like my TV. I may not love listening to Joe Buck for every game, but but yeah, I mean, it's like you said, like you could picture it. There's certain, like, it's funny because you talk to people that go like, I don't really like going to baseball games, and that it doesn't drive me nuts. I understand it obviously, but I think about that and I'm like, man, we see things so differently.
I know.
Like someone will be like, it's boring and all this. It's not even like the in-between time is what makes it wonderful.
It is.
It's the sitting there. It's the sounds. It's the weird guy that says Cracker Jacks. It's the guy selling Bud Light. Like it's everything in between. It's the in-between innings that you can like predict before they happen because you've been here, you've done this before.
Definitely, man.
It feels comfortable. It feels like you're part of. That's something that I always say to people. It's not, when people talk about sports fandom and all this, and I'm not flying a flag on my car for the Yankees. Okay. It's not happening.
We're on a Yankee tag.
No. I love my team. I don't love them that much. My grandfather used to always say to me, he used to hate when I would wear jerseys because he would say to me, he'd go, is that guy paying you to wear his name? Or are you paying to wear his name on your jersey?
How about that?
And I'm like, listen, I like the guy. Like, just give me a break. And he'd be like, I just would never pay to advertise for someone. Why would I do that? And so I have a little bit of that in me of like, I'm not going to fly a flag. Like, because at the end of the day,
for sure,
Aaron Judge doesn't care what happens to me,
You want to
Oh,
talk about fleeting too? Buying a jersey. Goodness gracious.
yeah,
Yeah, we
exactly.
might have to go through that list too. Like the
Mm.
worst jerseys you've bought.
Oh, I still got some in the closet.
I know, me too. Shout out to Geno Smith, man. Thought he was the
Man.
guy. I really did. That's another story for another
Oh
day as
Lord.
well. All these it's just jet stories for other days, man. That's what it is.
But it's like I'd take a football tailgate.
Oh,
I'd take a baseball game on a cool. Like honestly, some of my favorite baseball games happen in September,
definitely.
like the chilly. You got to wear a hoodie with the jersey over it. Those nights,
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Absolutely.
Oh, I've had some of the best nights at the stadium at that time, and I mean, and it honestly, it does make me feel good to see that at least other people that it's happening now. Like, because before months ago, it wasn't even a possibility.
Hmm.
But it also makes me wonder, like, where, when will be the next time?
That's the big thing. Like honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I really feel like the NBA is trying to do it, and I could see a game at Barclays March. I really could. Honestly, I could. I think it would be super limited though. I'm talking
Yeah.
10,000 people, maybe. But if they could get people in buildings and they go through a protocol, because I think this one is really showing you like, yeah, the roof is closed. I know baseball stadiums are huge, but if you told me must wear a mask, 5,000 people cap for Barclays on Christmas, or maybe when they start this, let's say they start the season in January. If you told me, hey, 5,000 people, and we're sectioning off things where like it's like 30 people, 40 people per section, but like 3, 4 in a row,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do that. You can spread people out in Barclays as far as up top or down low. I can see it, and I would go probably. I really would, because I would take like I know I would follow precautions because I don't
Yeah.
because I just I'm very low maintenance when I go to games. I really am. I'm all about watching the game, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been to games with you. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, you've been
You're
there,
locked in.
locked in, dude, locked in.
But it's true. I mean, if you're really there to enjoy the game, and especially now, like other, in a normal year where you would go to a number of games,
Mm-hmm.
some games you're there and you enjoy the walking around and the whatever. But right now, if after all this time of not being at a game, you're there to see live sports. Like that's what you're there for. So
What's the first, in your opinion? How many people and when is the first time you can get into like? What's the let's? I'll ask you a better question. What is the earliest you think next year Yankees will have people in the stadium, and how many people? What's the cap?
I think especially with baseball, it's opening day. There will be
Opening
fans in
day.
the stand on
Wow,
opening day. Yeah.
I
I
feel
think
you.
I think there'll be fans at spring training. I think there'll be fans opening day for sure. Um, Especially because spring training happens in Florida where things are a little more free and loose
Let's
than
say they're lax down there.
yeah. So I think opening day, I don't it really depends on obviously what ends up happening, vaccine, all this, but I especially with how strict things are here, I don't think it'll be full capacity, but I think it'll be over half. I could see it being over half on opening day. I really do because I think there's a lot of pressure to get people back because that's such a huge moneymaker
It
for
is.
the city, for obviously the teams in the league, but just for there's so many people with their hands in the cookie jar when it comes to a Yankee game
Mm-hmm.
that I I can't see them holding out much longer.
Yeah. So Wednesday, March 27th, 2021. Garrett Cole's on about 1 o'clock start. Is Nick in the building?
Honestly, probably not, but only because of financial reasons.
Gotcha.
If
Gotcha.
it was financially feasible, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's outdoor. I'd feel, like you said, I'd follow the precautions. I'd do my best. Um, I'd want to be there. I
I
would
feel
want
you.
to be there.
I feel you.
I would hope that your second favorite sports podcast would be there. Honestly, doing a little remote, a little remote from the parking lot,
Absolutely.
pre and post.
Absolutely. No, listen, man. We have to pull that off. It's funny. We were talking about that before the shutdown. Like
Yes.
Yankees coming up. We're gonna lock in. We're about to do the little remotes from River Ave right outside. You know what I mean? Go get a
Yeah.
sandwich. It's like, yeah,
Yes.
like we're gonna do these remotes. But man, like they really got thrown into a wrench.
But hey, look, we didn't buy this. This microphone isn't just to weigh down my shirt. All
There
right.
you go.
We bought
Exactly.
this so we can do stuff like that when it becomes possible. So
Listen, we're trying, guys. We got a lot of stuff planned. We just gotta wait for it to open. That's it. That's
we're
it.
not
Just
the
like you
only
guys.
ones. Yeah, exactly. But I'll be I mean, you be safe. I I'm a sport, like you said, a lover of sports.
Yes.
It's a big part of my life. It's a big
Mhm.
part of my social life.
Mhm.
So to me, it's oddly important to get back to that. To me, that's when things will truly start to feel normal. Like you want to talk
Definitely.
about feeling normal, when I can buy tickets the night before and go to the game the next
Mm.
day, that's when I'll start feeling normal.
Absolutely. I felt so off because I just couldn't do it. And I was like you said, looking for it when you come home from work and you're looking forward to, or just at the end of the day, and it's a 7 o'clock Yankee game, or even like for me, I love a nice 7:30 Nets tip. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Against the Orlando Magic at Barclays, like on a Friday, just in October or November or December. It's just a great feeling knowing that, like, hey, like let's go do something. You know what I mean? Let's take the train ride down. Let's take the train ride over and make it a night. But yeah, I'm praying. Hopefully, I think we're gonna get back. I don't know when, but I really believe it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think next season. I think next season will be in the arena, stadium, whatever it's going to be at some point.
It's gonna feel great too. It's gonna feel
Oh, it's going to be, it could be a blowout. It doesn't matter.
no,
It doesn't
no.
even matter a little bit. And I mean, that's what's kind of bittersweet about all this is actually the comeback is going to feel so good,
It is. It really is.
especially if the team's good. Then,
Exactly. Exactly.
but speaking of comebacks, right? Oh, I love when I really, and I do love Christmas. And it's not a surprise because I love wrapping things up, wrapping it together, putting a little
Oof.
bow on it, and
This
here I
guy
am.
with the segues are just out of control.
We're not talking about Christmas, but and now I lost my segue. No, I didn't. Speaking of comebacks, we will be back
Mm-hmm.
together
Yes.
at the table with a whole new setup.
Mm-hmm.
It has come in. COVID couldn't stop it.
Nope.
It's here. New equipment, high quality stuff, and it's coming soon. So that's something to look forward to in itself. Besides more conversation, besides the bracket we talked about, and some other things that we have planned that we haven't even announced yet.
Yep.
But look forward to actually being together, not this bouncing back and forth, and new equipment. And I think that's it for this episode. I
Yeah,
think
man. Everybody stay tuned. Follow on all socials. Link is in the bio.
that's it. That's all you need to know. Links in the bio, links below, links wherever you are, there's a link.
There's a link.
Click it.
Please.
Find it, click it, love
Definitely.
it. Um, like we said at the beginning, if you want to watch the video, um, it is the full episode is on youtube.com/second favorite sports. If you would rather listen to the audio or you left off at some point in the video and then you're getting in the car and you want to continue, you can always go to soundcloud.com/second favorite sports or the SoundCloud app, and you can download the full episode so it can be played when you're offline also. So you don't need to be connected to Wi-Fi to listen. Just download the episode, follow us there. You'll get notifications when we post new episodes. Unfortunately, the full catalog of episodes isn't available on SoundCloud, but that's something that we can work on in the future if we find that that's something people want. So, but definitely stay tuned. More to come. IP with a new setup.
Definitely.
And that's it, Trent. Thanks
That's
for
it.
another
This is
great
fun,
episode.
man.
That's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff people say.
All of it.
Hit the little notification bell at Second Favorite Sports.
Definitely.
I'll catch you next time.
See you guys.
Peace.
Peace.